Good evening, all. Thank you for
Nice.
being here. You're joining us in the kitchen with WorkWell NYC. I am Afia Bediako with WorkWell NYC, and I will give you a very brief introduction to WorkWell NYC and then pass it on to our talented chefs to take us through the recipe tonight. So WorkWell NYC is the city's employee wellness initiative. We are here to support employees in the office and at home, as many of us are now, to help you be well. And we recognize that wellness exists in a continuum. There's many facets of wellness, and our programming includes 4 distinct areas. We support you in the area of moving more. We want folks to be physically active. We have an area called Take Action, which is all about preventative health and taking action to make sure that you are taking care of yourself through medical connectivity, etc. We also have our Be Well initiative, which is all about mental health and resilience, and then our Eat Well portion, which is the bucket of programming that brought us all here tonight. So I wanted to let you all know that we encourage everyone to participate, but I want to sort of make you aware that the event tonight will be recorded. We will share the recording with those who participated, who registered at the end of the series, and it also will be posted on WorkWell NYC's webpage. And also just note that as folks are participating, which we highly encourage you to, note that the comments and views expressed by participants aren't necessarily those reflective of WorkWell NYC or Beautifully Fed Food. So that's my introduction, and I will pass it on to our chefs.
Fantastic. Hi, everybody. I am Karen Joseph Sharfis. I will be managing the tech today, while Fiona, our lovely chef, will be leading us through the recipe. I'll also be kind of like managing the chat and making sure that we pop into your kitchen from time to time. So I will always ask if it's okay to pop in, and you give me permission, and then I'll come and say hi. Like in Carla Murray's kitchen, where I see kids dancing, we definitely want to come and see what's going on there. So that's my role tonight. And I am one of the chefs of Beautifully Fed Food. We're a collective of 8 women of color cooking up health and eliminating health disparities through food, one delicious bite at a time, because if it doesn't taste good, it doesn't even matter. We know this to be true. So I'll give it to Fiona so that we can get started. She can tell us what we're making and all the good stuff.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. It's so much fun to be on this side of things tonight, because Karen and I kind of go back and forth. And so tonight's my turn to lead the cooking, and I'm super excited to be here to do this. So I am also one of the chefs with Beautifully Fed Food. I'm also a fitness instructor, and I do lots of things related to wellness because I really believe in taking a holistic approach to our health. And it's a journey, we're all on this journey together. And so we love when you join us and you cook with us. So I also want to invite you, even if you're not cooking with us, if you are willing to turn your cameras on just so that you can engage with us, we love that. It's much more fun when we can talk to people rather than looking at squares with names on them. So if you are comfortable doing that, we'd love to see you. We'd love to talk to you, because this is going to be a conversation. Everybody's coming here with wisdom and with something, even if you're not a cook or whatever it is. H offered great information about Gary Null and some people he's interested in. So we're just going to be talking about all kinds of things related to wellness tonight. So I just wanted to extend that invitation, and now we will get started. We are making a chili tonight. It's a white bean chili, and then we're going to top it with an avocado, lime, and yogurt mixture. So who here likes chili? And do you typically make chili with meat, or have you had vegetarian options as well? Feel free to take yourself off of mute and just share. Yay, thank you to some of you for coming on camera.
Yeah, appreciate it. We see y'all.
So what kind of chili do you usually have? Do you usually have it with meat and then maybe say, oh, I'm going to have turkey to lighten it up? Because I think that's what people do sometimes, right? Because chili is often made with red meat, but then people will sub it with turkey to say, oh, I'm going to make a healthier option. But we've taken it another step and taken the meat out altogether, and it's still going to be just as filling and just as tasty. Cool. So
I've made one, a chicken chili just recently with white beans and
nice.
Swiss chard.
Oh, So very similar. So
Ooh,
we're going to use
yeah.
this chart tonight as well. How about some of your subs? For those of you who haven't seen the recipe we're doing, I'll just read through it really quickly just to make sure that you have everything. So we're starting with 2 tablespoons of extra virgin oil in your pan. I actually may have a little bit more than 2 tablespoons. The goal is really to make sure that the bottom of your pan is coated. So just make sure you're doing that. Then we're going to have a red onion. If you have a yellow onion, that's fine. If you have a shallot, that's great. We'll do a large bell pepper. Any color is fine. I'm actually using this orange bell pepper that was starting to look a little sad, and I don't want to put that in my salad, but I said, you know what? It'll be perfect in my chili. So that's good. 4 to 5 cloves of garlic, because we love garlic. You may not want as much, but I might even put 6 cloves. I'm using a jalapeno, 2 tablespoons. By the way, I updated the recipe just to add even more flavor. But if you want to start with, I think you should have the updated recipe in the chat, but if you want to start with smaller amounts of the spices and then up in case your palate is a little sensitive, that's fine too. But I'm doing 2 tablespoons of chili powder, 2 tablespoons of cumin, 2 teaspoons of paprika, but I may just put a tablespoon, and smoked paprika. Because what I love about this is I want something in this that has a smokiness. So if you don't have smoked paprika, but maybe you have chipotle, which I also love, just see what you have in your cabinet that might add a little smokiness to it. If you don't have it, that's fine too, which is going to be my go-to response for if you don't have anything, that's fine. Okay.
Cinnamon also adds another layer, a depth of flavor, kind of a sweetness, kind of a smokiness too. So that's something you get to play with.
Nice, cinnamon. Yep.
Yeah.
Oregano, about 2 teaspoons. I also added thyme, just about a teaspoon of thyme. And then we've got all of our beans. We have corn. The original recipe had just 1 cup of corn, but I think the one that you have now should have just 16 ounces. Because when I made this, I said, you know what, I could use some more corn in this. The Swiss chard, our broth, 2 bay leaves, salt, lime juice, and cilantro. But again, as I said earlier, if you have other things in your refrigerator that you want to use up, throw it into this chili. Does anybody have anything like that you're thinking about? Maybe some leftover veggies or something that you made and you're like, you know what, I'm going to add this to my chili tonight.
Yeah.
Anybody have any thoughts on that? Great. All righty. So then let's get to it.
I'm going to use lentils.
Beautiful.
Smart.
Nice. And what kind of beans? Are any of you subbing out the beans for different types of beans instead of, well, you said lentils, of course. So I have cannellini, Great Northern beans. No, I don't. Cannellini, navy beans, and chickpeas. Are all of you also using those 3 beans?
I couldn't find the Great Northern beans. So I'm using red beans, Dominican red beans as a replacement.
Nice. Okay, but what are you doing? Because I know you're always flipping it up, switching it up. What are you putting in yours?
I'm doing Great Northern beans, pinto beans, and the kidney beans, but the small ones.
Nice, nice. The thing that I like about white beans is that they have a mild flavor. So when you put them into your dish, they're really going to take on the flavor of whatever you're cooking them with.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so by the way, get ready because we've been doing a demo of chopping an onion. But every time we do this, we show you all our little trick for chopping an onion. Tonight, I would like to invite one of you to do this demo with me. So who's down? Who's going to be doing this demo with me so we know who we can call on?
Maybe using the tricks and tips you've learned from us that you've learned elsewhere, like show us.
I'm planting the seed. And we're gonna come back. I see Lori. Lori looks like she wants to do it, but we'll see. All right, so let's get started.
Slow your roll really quick, Fiona. There are people who don't have the recipe, so I want to put it in. They're asking for it, so I'm pasting it right now. And then somebody also asked about using cayenne pepper instead of chili powder. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, don't use as much because cayenne is really going to give it a kick. So don't use quite as much of it. Maybe start with a teaspoon and then add from there.
Yeah, unless you know you like the spice and you can handle it, then go for it. But if you want to
Crushed red pepper.
Red pepper flakes?
Yeah. Red pepper. That's okay.
Red pepper, yeah, sure.
That's going to add heat. So again, just be mindful of how much spice you like,
cayenne,
but not as much as
but
cayenne.
it's not as
Exactly.
strong as cayenne.
Right. It's not. It's
Right.
milder.
Right. Oh, I left out one of the new ingredients, maple syrup. So the recipe calls for 2 tablespoons, but start with 1. Lori got really excited
Ha, ha.
Amazing.
Ooh.
So start with 1 just in case. I recognize that my palate is drawn to things that are a little sweeter. So you start with 1 and then add the second if you feel that you need it. But I think some sort of sweetener is needed to just to help to balance some of the acid in the recipe.
Agreed.
Alrighty, so make sure that you've got your pot, your oil in your pot ready.
Okay.
We are going to start with our onion demonstration. Who is going to help me with this? So we have, I already have half of my onion here. Ava, stop it. Are you gonna do it? Lori, who's helping me with this onion demonstration?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Lori, yes!
Yay. Lori, hold on.
Yes,
I'm gonna come find you.
Yeah, you've been expanding each week.
I
on it.
love this. Thank you, Lori.
I don't see Lori, and I'm gonna admit Vanessa, and I'm looking
Alrighty,
for
so
Lori.
for the rest of you, if you
Wait.
want to go ahead and chop your onion in half like this, so that everything is still intact, you're just chopping it in half. I already took off the outer.
Cool. Lori, you're on camera. And also, before you get started, Dolores has pinto beans, and she wants to use some leftover cauliflower in the fridge. Wants to make sure that's okay. Go for it, Dolores. We say yes.
We say yes.
Yes, yes,
So,
yes.
alrighty, so we have our onion cut in half. Lori, right?
Yeah.
So we cut it in half, it's peeled, it's cut in half. We're going to remove.
And you remember, hold on, Lori, you remember to cut through the root. You're not gonna cut it. Watch Fiona. Like, yeah, Fiona show how
So
you're
it's
gonna
cut
cut in
this
half.
way, right? So the root is still intact.
So you hold the root up and then cut through, yeah.
Longitudinal.
Yep.
Nope, not, yeah, that way. That's it. Sorry, you got
already
this.
peeled it, right?
No,
Yeah.
but this makes it easier to peel
Okay.
more. She's good.
Okay.
All right.
Great. Alrighty. So now we are putting. Are you all seeing this? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we're putting. Well, actually, I'm gonna cut off the bottom. So we're cutting off the bottom of the onion, and I skipped a step. Right. So how are you holding your knife, Lori? So I have my chef's knife. It looks as though you do as well. So we've got these 2 fingers here, and then we're wrapping. See, they're actually on the blade because this helps to give you more control as you're cutting. And then you're wrapping the other fingers around the handle. Good. Does that feel comfortable for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're kind of like, relax.
Yeah.
Great. All right.
There you go.
So I cut off the bottom. And now we are just going around and making little slivers. You can even, I don't do this, but I've heard people say that they follow the lines on the onion. That's a little too much for me. Yeah, so I'm just going around and my finger is clawed. We're not going to talk about the toes, but my fingers are clawed, right? And I'm holding the onion. Those of you who were here last week, this is why you can't miss a week. And we are making these slivers.
Nice.
Yeah. Are you with me, Lori?
Yeah,
Lori's still watching.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're making sure that we're not going too far up because we want to keep everything intact, right? So even though I'm slivering, it's still together. All righty. So we're slivering down.
From root to, from the head to the root.
Exactly. Exactly.
Hold on a second, Lori, because again, remember the idea is not to cut through the root. You want to keep the root intact. So you start at the root. Yeah. And then you make the incision from the root down because cutting through the root cuts off what's holding the onion.
The root, this?
Yeah. Are you able?
The hairy part. You start at the hairy part. Okay. There you go. That's the root.
Yeah.
So let that face you and look at Fiona.
So even though I've already made some cuts, I'm still holding it and my onion is together.
And that's because she's not cutting through that hairy part. She's
Right.
keeping that
This
intact and
part
just
is still-
starting from it. Exactly.
Great. Ready,
Okay.
Lori? Let's go. We got this.
Do it.
We
And
got this.
I'll let y'all go and then we'll share.
What do you have to share? Go ahead.
That Alexis said that the top chopping tips we mentioned around the onions and stuff last week really improved his chopping techniques.
Awesome.
And they're really
Love
excited.
it.
And Ava says, yes, Lori, doing the thing. Go, Lori, Simone.
So here's my onion. I think I put in an extra cut that kind of made some of the pieces not hold together, but for the most part, it's still there, right? I've still got my onion together. Ooh, here you
Yes,
are.
look at that. I can see you. You can see you.
Right?
Awesome.
That's
Yeah,
the onion.
that's what you want.
It's like a blooming onion if you've ever been to Outback Steakhouse. I used to go there back in the day. Did anybody ever go to Outback Steakhouse? Anyway.
Sure did. Lori wants to show you how her onion's coming together.
I want to show you my onion, my blooming onion.
Nice.
Kind of blooming, right?
Yes.
Yay, that's what you want, honey. So
Um,
those are the vertical incisions, right?
Great.
Yeah.
So now that was the first part. So now we come back, and this is how we're dicing the onion, by the way. That's the type of cut that we're doing. So now we're coming back and we are just.
And Marty remembers the Outback blooming onion.
So we're now just coming back around, and here we are, right? We've got
Do
these
it. The dices.
dices.
So you
Right?
turn
We
the
came
other
back,
way.
we did some horizontal cuts now. This is horizontal. Maybe it's cut in the other direction.
Yeah. Perpendicular
Yeah.
to the other cuts.
Yeah.
Carla's doing a dance for us. Carla's kids.
And then you can put it here and then just kind of cut around the edges to get anything that's left. And there's your root that you can compost, toss, do what you do.
Save for stock, all kinds of things.
Yeah. So I want to come back and just make my pieces a little more uniform. Some of them are a little bit bigger than others. And I want the dice to be pretty small. How's it going?
That's it, Lori. There we go. Fiona, can you walk her through how to hold the knife and how you're putting your hand on the top of the blade to allow for the cutting through the onion?
Sure. So at this point, once we
Watch her,
have
Lori.
all of our onion, we have the first dice done. I'm now just gathering my onion, and then I'm putting my fingers here and just working my way through.
There you go. That's it, Lori. And that's how you create that rhythm going. Does it feel a little different for you? Right? Less work.
Yeah.
Perfect. You got this.
Did anybody else try this in your kitchen while Lori was helping us demo?
Yeah. Where are y'all in your kitchens? Who else is cooking with us?
Kenya. Kenya's back cooking as well. Welcome back,
Kenya.
Kenya.
Yay, Kenya.
Awesome.
Okay, you keep stressing us.
All righty. So we
So
have
great.
our onions ready to go. So at this
Uh-huh.
point, make sure that you turn your oil on, your pot on, so that the oil is warming up. Actually, no,
Excellent.
not yet, because we got
Not yet.
some more prepping.
Chopping.
Yeah, so you
Okay.
put the onion aside, put it into a bowl if you have one. I don't, so I'm just gonna put it to the side of my cutting board. By the way, I do the same thing with garlic. It's much smaller, but you can also do the same technique where you are doing the little slivers. You don't get to mash it the way Karen does. I laugh because there's so many ways that you can kind of get your aggression out in the kitchen as you're cooking, like smashing onions and garlic.
Yes. And we find all of them. It's very important to us to release our aggression.
So anyway, once you peel your onion, this is a garlic, not onion. Once you peel this thing that I have in my hand, which is a little harder when you don't smash it. But we got some really good tips last week, right? Folks share that if you cook them in water or if you microwave them, it helps get skin off a little bit easier. And since I'm not doing any of that, I'm having a little as Karen shared, this is a sign of a fresh garlic, so I'm not
And
mad.
since I do not have a fresh garlic, this is what I'm gonna use today.
Great.
Is that garlic paste or crushed
minced-
garlic?
Yeah,
Minced garlic.
So-
Oh, nice.
my garlic is old, so.
Yeah.
You've got
See,
that.
make
So
quick work in the kitchen.
Yeah, so you can do the same thing with the garlic, you know, again, it's much smaller, but you can do these little slivers. And then, oh, look,
Wait.
and it helps to take it off. And then you
Cool.
can come back around and do it this way. And then get rid of the edge and your garlic is diced.
Yay.
Come back in and do the same thing if you want to make it a little bit smaller. So the same technique can work with the garlic as with the onion.
Sounds like a plan.
Alrighty,
Beautiful.
now let's go to our pepper.
Thanks for dicing and slicing with us.
Yeah,
Lori.
Lori.
Sweet. Well, we'll come back and check in on you in a little bit, okay?
Alrighty, so here's our pepper. I already cut this so that you can see that, you know, obviously most of you, I imagine, have seen a pepper. You know what it looks like. So one of the easy ways that we try to kind of not make a mess is to cut around this middle part. So you can just cut all around and then you'll be left with, even though mine is still falling apart because my pepper is a little bit old, so it's not working out too well. But the concept is that you would be able to just cut around the middle part with the seed and then it wouldn't make a mess like it did here. But lesson learned, if your pepper is not as fresh, it's not going to work out as well.
Nice.
So now we know.
While you're doing that, can we pop into Carla Murray's kitchen and see what's going on just with the whole family together? Is that cool, Carla? Do you want to come check? Yeah?
I'm just going to rinse it,
Hi.
get rid of the seeds.
All right.
We got the kids here working too.
I see you're putting them to good work. Hold on.
They're
It won't
enjoying
let me. There we go.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, okay. Give me 1
I
second.
love that you're cooking with music. My favorite. By the way, everybody else, if you're cooking, please go ahead and continue chopping your peppers, your onions, your garlic. Just make sure your jalapeno as well, because we'll be tossing all of that into the pot.
All right, Carla and family, what are you working on right now? And who do you have in the kitchen with us? Introduce us to your family.
Got the onions and the peppers cooking and just chopping up cilantro. Got everything pretty much already chopped up.
Sweet.
Nice. Do you already have your stuff in the pot?
Yep.
Awesome.
Nice. Who are your introduce your kitchen helpers, please. Your family. Who's who? You're on mute. There we go.
This is my son Damien.
Hi,
Damien.
Damien.
The hubby just walked in.
Hi,
Hey,
guys.
Abby, welcome. And who's the little dancer? Hi. Yeah, I saw you. I saw your moves earlier. I love dancing in the kitchen too. But thanks for cooking with us. All right, we'll come check in on you in a little bit. So all your things are already on the fire sauteing, right?
Yep.
All right,
All right.
so let's check in with Fiona. Thanks.
Alrighty.
Bye,
So
Fiona.
I'm now prepped. I'm ready to go. My stove is now on. So I am going to start with my onion, my pepper, and my jalapeno.
Okay.
I'm gonna start cooking those down once the
Family
oil.
up there.
So tell me, while I'm waiting for my oil to get a little bit hot, looking at the recipe, because I know some of you make chili on your own, what are some of the spices and things that you would typically put in your chili? Is there anything that you don't see in this recipe that you would typically use? I'm always curious.
I'm not answering.
Mother,
too.
Use pepper flakes.
Use pepper flakes instead of?
Oh, I don't even have the recipe here.
Oh, so we're using chili powder, ground cumin, smoked paprika, oregano, a little thyme. Would you
Instead of
use?
the, I don't use the smoked paprika.
Got it. Nice. Anybody
And
else?
I'm posting the recipe again for folks that might want it, need it. I put a cinnamon stick into my chili as a way of like warming it up, adding more warmth without adding heat. Yeah. And I often do that when I don't have chili powder. Like right now, I made chili yesterday and I did not have chili powder. So I used the cinnamon stick and I used smoked paprika.
Yeah,
And I
because
still
they're
called it
actually
chili.
similar. So paprika, which I recently learned, is made from chili often. So it's just another layer of flavor when you use the chili powder and the smoked paprika.
Yeah.
All right, folks, so let's go ahead. I'm gonna add I'll just put a little in to make sure I hear the sizzle, and I didn't hear the sizzle. It's not ready. My oil isn't hot enough. So in
Fiona,
Can I
quick question. I'm impressed that you had no teary eye at all with all that onion. Is there any, do you get used to that? Because when I cut an onion, sometimes you know, it's painful. Any secrets or insights about that?
I have heard that, so I don't do this. And I'm sorry, I'm just gonna put this in because my oil.
I'm lighting you as you're asking the question. So that's a good
Great.
question.
So I've heard that putting the onion in cold water, I've gotten used to it, but cold water seems to help. Any other tips from other folks?
And definitely, you make a good point. The more you do it, the more immune you become to it. Yeah. So that's key also. For sure. Thanks for asking.
So
are you cooking along with us today, H?
I'm sorry?
Are you cooking along with us today?
No. I'm just watching.
You're watching?
Thanks.
Cool. Enjoy and come back. You're welcome.
I would love to cook with you all, but I don't know how to get the recipe before so I can go shopping and get it and cook with you all.
Who's that talking to us?
Tracy.
Hi, Tracy. Sorry about that. Somebody else was asking about that too. When you register for the class, the Zoom will send you an email to that same email that you registered with. So check your email inbox and check your spam if it's not in there, and it should come from WorkWell NYC. So try that because we definitely want you all to have the recipes. It's kind of the point.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think I missed it, but how do you cut the peppers again? How did you cut it? Like, was it like medium dice?
I did a dice. I did a small medium dice. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure. Yes, I am.
Yes.
I have everything. I've already put the onions and the garlic in, but I wasn't sure how to cut the pepper because I was dealing with cutting the other stuff. So I didn't see.
Great. I tend to save my garlic for last just because for me, I will always end up burning my garlic somehow. I don't know how, but as long as you're watching your stove and you're not burning your garlic, then it's fine.
Yeah. Ooh, garlic question. Somebody had a question earlier about whether or not you cut off the ends of your garlic. What do you do, Fiona? Yeah, I do too. I cut off the little ends. I don't know, they're fibrous and I want to bite into that. So I always cut them off. And also the little green germ that might be growing, I get rid of that because it's kind of bitter tasting to me. So, but otherwise I cut off the whole rest of the garlic.
I cut off both ends, yeah. And the fact that Karen cuts that off means something because Karen uses every single drop of everything that.
Yeah, I'm neurotic about getting every scrape of things into the pan. Yeah, I'm very serious about it.
It looks so colorful.
Yes.
Right? You see the pan?
It looks beautiful. So colorful.
So those are all the peppers and the garlic. Yum, and the onions. Delicious.
I bet that smells good.
Ooh. Every single time. I'm amazed by how delicious onions and garlic and these things smell as you're cooking.
Already you're a chef. Like that smells like you're cooking something amazing. Do you have any spices in there too so far? Not yet?
Okay. Not yet. So I'm gonna add the garlic and then I'm gonna add all my spices. And also look at these spices. Like look at how great it looks.
Pretty grounding spices. They're all like grounding colors.
Yeah.
Yum. Can't wait.
Good. Did everybody put a jalapeno in theirs? I'm curious. No jalapeno. Oh man. I think that's my favorite ingredient in this. Lori, how's your pot coming? I see you're hanging out with us. Is it coming along?
I want to see you.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, pretty.
Great.
Looking good.
Going
to... How are you doing, Kenya? What's happening over there? Ooh, can we come spotlight? You're showing it to me, so I'm saying that's a yes. Pretty.
I want to point
Look
something
at
else out,
that.
and we were talking about this earlier.
That
We were talking about the fact that a couple
thanks,
weeks
Kenya.
ago.
That looks
You're
really good.
welcome.
Did you? Beautiful. Okay, go on, Fiona.
Yeah, so I was saying a couple weeks ago, Karen made a Cuban dish that was also tomato based, that also had beans, and it had potatoes in there as well, and some similar spices. But I was thinking, it's kind of nice to just have a base that you can use and then add different flavors to it, right? Because we had tomatoes, we had the beans, and whatever other veggies we decided, but then because of the different seasonings or spices that we're using, it's a totally different dish. So that's one way to think about cooking, where you have kind of a base and then you're just swapping out the spices to make it different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Swapping out the spices or swapping out the acid. Some people here have talked about adding beer into this as an acid into chili. I love chili with beer. Yum. But putting it into the chili also is a great idea. Yum. I'm trying to think what else. Some people are asking about what type of herbs you're using, and are you using fresh or dry, Fiona?
What type of
herbs? What herbs do you have in there?
So all of my herbs except for the cilantro are dried.
Cool.
Yeah, and so I've just added them so that I can toast them in the pot.
Yeah. Yeah, the dried herbs, y'all, you want to put in at the beginning of the cooking process, and the fresh herbs, depending on how delicate they are, you could put it closer towards the end. A more sturdy herb like thyme and rosemary can go in also at the beginning because it can hold up to the heat. But other thinner herbs like your basil for sure, your cilantro, your parsley, you're going to add it towards the end.
Yeah. By the way, thyme, don't forget that we're also adding a teaspoon of thyme here.
Ooh.
And any other flavors that you might like, any other seasonings. We had someone, I never forget this story. Cynthia, you have a question?
Hi, I missed a beat or two. I have the peppers and the garlic. Do I go right ahead and add in the seasonings now?
So you didn't use onions, so you have your pepper, you have your garlic. Are you using jalapeno or no?
I do. I have it. I didn't know when to put it in.
Yeah, you should put that in now as well, and then add your seasonings.
Oh, okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
There's nothing wrong here.
Nothing.
Just get it in there. And Fiona, did you put your jalapenos in you're cutting them, right? You're not putting them in whole? You're slicing them?
Was that a question for me?
Yeah.
What were you asking?
The jalapenos are sliced, right? Or diced?
I dice my jalapeno.
Yeah.
Okay.
And H is asking me a question that I don't know the answer to. So I'm asking our community. And Fiona, H said, I heard there's a type of pepper that can burn the skin. Is that true? Like topically added to your skin, it can burn it? What do y'all know about it? H is nodding. Yes, that is what I mean.
I mean, I can say when I was
saying,
cutting these jalapenos and then I touched my face did burn. And my fingers are burning a little bit from cutting the jalapenos. I mean, it's not like a burn that would penetrate the skin, but
it's like a heat.
Yeah.
I've heard of that with people cutting jalapenos, even if they have on like the latex gloves, and they can still feel the heat from the jalapenos, which is why I'm afraid of them.
I see.
I've heard of ghost peppers being really strong, and if you're not careful, you can hallucinate.
They're some of the hottest peppers. I didn't know that they can make you hallucinate, but yeah, they're hotter even than Scotch bonnet. And for me, Scotch bonnet is the hottest pepper that I've had, that I eat regularly. And I do eat regular. And a Scotch bonnet, if you put it on your skin, it will, you'll feel it.
Okay. So yes, I'm going to keep us moving. Okay. I'm now going to add the tomatoes and the beans and the corn. So if you all are with me,
yum.
Do that.
So you're adding your corn now. Also, folks are talking about making their own chili powder. But when they use pre-made, they add maybe a seasoning or two to it. Heidi adds cumin to, pre-made chili powder. And Alex Rodriguez wants to know, would this work in a crock pot? Yes, yes, it would. Jalapeno spice? Really, Carla Murray and family? I didn't know that jalapeno was a dried spice.
Oh, there it is.
Yes,
Can you read the ingredients in that? That is very curious.
We also have somebody in the waiting room.
Okay, thanks.
It doesn't.
I don't see them now. Oh wait, and yeah, go ahead, read that. And I saw that Ava's hand was up a second ago. Ava, I'm coming back to you. The person waiting room is long there. Are you reading to me the ingredients? Can you see them?
It doesn't say. It just mentions that it's ground jalapeno.
Then maybe that's all it is. Ground jalapenos. Look at that. Really cool. I had no idea they do that. So you're sprinkling just a few sprinkles of that into your pot. Nice.
Yes.
Pimento peppers. Sure, you can throw that in. Exactly. Always leave room to improvise, y'all.
Need my maple syrup. It is spicy. I like it. I'm gonna add my maple syrup. I'm gonna start with one. Well, actually, I'm only gonna use 1 tablespoon since I'm having this.
Jeanette's experiencing a similar thing where she doesn't think her pot is big enough. That's okay, Jeanette. You could
Has
either
anybody tasted? What do you think so far? Curious to hear how it's coming out.
What, that was for me?
Anybody who's cooking along with us, have you tasted?
Mine was bland, so I had to add the salt.
Oh yeah, definitely add your salt and then
add
taste
your
it.
salt.
And do you have the 2 teaspoons of salt?
I only put a half right now. I'm gonna taste it to make sure. Like with the chili powder, because I didn't use the cayenne pepper. My family can't take that. So I use 1, instead of the 2 tablespoons, I use 1 teaspoon.
Yeah.
And I'm adding as I taste to make sure it's not too hot.
That's how you do it, Kenya.
How about others?
Question for you with the salt, if you're using kosher salt as opposed to like table salt or Ida, do you use less or more? Because I've read some things like they said it's like larger granules.
Yes, great question, Michelle. Go Fee.
So we don't use table salt here. So we only use, sea salt and
yeah, exactly. I have sea salt, I have pink Himalayan salt, I have kosher salt.
Yeah. So actually, I mean, Karen, I haven't cooked with table salt in such a long time. How much do you use in comparison to table salt?
So typically it's really interesting because a lot of people are starting now to understand that there is a difference between sea salt and table salt. A lot of people before didn't know. And the fact is most recipes are built on sea salt. And sea salt is a thicker granule than the table salt. So when folks are using table salt and following a traditional recipe, they're usually using more salt than is required in the recipe.
Yeah.
So if you're using sea salt, and I tend to use a coarse sea salt, but even if you use a coarser grain sea salt, and then you're following the recipe exactly as it is, and you don't need as much because the sea salt is so thick, right? And it melts easily into the food as you're cooking it. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Ava's tasting. How are we doing, Ava? Where are we at?
I don't know. I mean, and Ava, I hope you upped the measurements because the original recipe that you printed out, we've upped from there. So
Significantly.
Yeah.
To amp up the flavor.
Mm-hmm. Mine is good. That's yours.
Yeah, it's good. I just did one. I did one of these. I'm just like I don't measure. I'm just shaking.
Yeah.
What types of spices did you add to it? Did you add some other stuff?
So I used taco seasoning. Along with the cumin, the smoked paprika, the oregano, the thyme. So I think the only thing I did extra was use the taco.
Okay. Did you add salt yet in your bay leaf?
Oh, I didn't put. Yeah, I have the bay leaf. I put that in now.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So at this point, everything is in and it's simmering. Want to hear from other folks. How's it going, Cynthia? How's it going in your kitchen?
Good. It smells heavenly. I just didn't add the broth yet. Should that be in by now?
Yep, go ahead, add everything. You can even put a squeeze of the lime in there.
Okay, and how about, I only put one kind of bean in, I can put the other two in now as well?
Everything should be in your pot now.
Okay, okay.
Put it all in there. And is it you, Jeanette, who is having trouble with all the ingredients in your tiny pot? What was your
Yeah,
fix?
I
Can I come?
actually just did a transfer because then I would have had a big mess.
Okay. Yeah.
I
that
didn't
was probably
realize how much I, underestimated.
liquid.
Yeah, so I just poured it to a different pot, and now I'm putting in the rest of the ingredients. I just put the broth in, but I got to put in the maple syrup and some other things.
Yeah, Ava, are you using maple syrup in yours?
I put agave because I don't have any maple syrup, so I just put the agave. I need a little bit more salt though because I put too much agave, so it's a little on the sweet side. So I think once I add the lime juice, and the salt and stuff, it'll balance out.
Yeah, and the avocado sauce.
How much? Yeah, start with 1 tablespoon of maple syrup, folks, or sweetener. And if you're not using a liquid sweetener, then put a little less.
There you go.
Who else is cooking? How's it coming out? Kenya, so you added some more salt. How is it now?
Better.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Tell me
I just added the 1 teaspoon of salt. I had just a half a teaspoon. So I just added the 1 teaspoon. That's it.
What else do you have in there? Because did you not have chili?
I put chili powder. I ended up doing the 1 chili powder, 1 teaspoon instead of the 2. I mean, I did 1 teaspoon, not 1 tablespoon. Yeah.
Of chili powder, just 1. Okay.
Yeah, because I have to. They won't eat it if it's too hot.
Okay.
And then I added. I tried this time to add everything that you said to add. I didn't go crazy. I found the northern beans. I went crazy for all of the other stuff.
Okay.
So I'm just seeing how it tastes, but it's okay right now.
How about the cumin? Did you add cumin or
I added cumin.
Amp up the flavor.
And I want to wait until it cooks a little bit more.
There you go.
Right.
And then,
of course, the flavors will meld. Yeah, you make a great point that the flavors will meld. By the way, make sure it's on simmer. After you add everything, make sure that it's on simmer. Just adding everything, right? How about Carlos?
Everything's coming out good. The kids are loving it.
Can I come see? Kids, what did y'all do? I don't want to replace the spotlight. Oops. What did you do to help with the cooking process?
I added. She added some. I added some of the chili powder, some of the onions, and something else I forgot, and the beans.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Are you gonna eat it? Do you like chili?
Yeah.
It's yummy, right? I can't wait. I can't wait till it's done. I mean, I'm not near y'all, so I can't eat it, but I'm super excited. So I'll watch you eat. Okay, thanks for sharing with us, y'all. See you in a bit.
Yeah.
All right.
How about Michelle?
Michelle, where you at?
So
I see you. Can you come to the kitchen, Michelle?
So the good thing is like this is clearing out my cabinets. I have like, the pandemic beans and tomatoes that I bought earlier on. I'm like, when I got Onstead, I didn't even have the recipe, but I had literally everything in my cabinet because this is like nice staples that you should,
Good call out, Michelle. This is exactly what this is. Yep.
My daughter thought she was gonna have stir fry for dinner today. She's having chili. So.
Awesome. Have you tasted it yet?
Yeah, it's coming out good. Got to develop a little more flavor, but
yeah.
I've never done like vegetable stock in the chili.
Yeah.
Tomatoes. A lot of recipes I know when my mom used to make it, she didn't drain the beans, so it was a little thicker.
And part of the reason that we drain the beans, they're not, we're trying to minimize that.
Yeah. And I'm glad, Fiona, that you went back to talking about salt, because in the chat there's been a discussion around like salt being too much salt. We're not supposed to have a lot of salt in our diet. And part of why at Beautifully Fed Food, we encourage us to cook, our meals and not eat out so much or eat processed meals are because we have more control over what we're eating when we're cooking. And so, yeah, we say use sea salt, but we are actually measuring the amount of salt and how much we're put in. And if you're cooking yourself, and even if you add like a little too much salt here, you're still eating way less salt than you would be if you're eating takeout every day. Trust us. And the other piece of this is, yeah, we're using canned veggies and things, but we're talking about rinsing the canned veggies. When you're buying canned beans, for instance, you want to look at low sodium canned beans. Again, all the ways to make sure that you are monitoring your salt content and that you have the most control over it. So these are the ways that we take control of our nutrition and our intake of nutrition. So thank you for all of those comments in the chat.
Alrighty, so let's get to this avocado lime topping, folks. We're doing this together. So how do you cut an avocado? Cutting it this way. One of those ways where you can, you are taking, whack it, twist it, and it comes out. And then just squeeze that off. So also, you can cut your avocado while it's still, just make your slices. And then grab your spoon and scoop it right out. And you got your dices. You see that straight out of the
That was cool.
Wasn't that cool? Sweet.
So there you go.
That's the way to cut an avocado, people. Learn all the tips and tricks right here. La la.
Yeah, just be mindful, because I mean, we typically will say to put it down, but for me, it's easier to hold it in my hand to do this. Just please be mindful when you are cutting this way.
Exactly. Fiona, do you want to share your tips around storing fresh herbs? Heidi wants to know, and I'm sure others do too.
Yeah, I mean, so I actually like to freeze them. I will cut them up and put them into ice cube trays, either with water or with olive oil, and then I'll freeze them. So I tried to start doing that as soon as I buy them, because I was finding that I was wasting way too many of my fresh herbs. So when I buy them, I would just chop them up right away, separate them into the ice cube trays. And when I'm feeling particularly anal, I will measure them out. So I'll say, okay, each cube will have a tablespoon of chopped cilantro. So that way, as I'm doing recipes, I know exactly how much of the herb I'm putting in. So that's the way I do it. But I know that if you don't want to freeze them, you can also just store them, like parsley, cilantro, those types of things. You can just store them in a glass with water. You wrap a paper towel around it. Ava was telling us about this last week.
Yeah, it looks really pretty in your fridge, y'all, when you do that. Like you've got a bouquet of flowers or a bouquet of herbs. It'll last long. And also, what are your tips for buying avocado? Elizabeth says that she's terrible at selecting a good ripe avocado.
Yeah, so for me, it depends on when I'm actually going to use the avocado. So if I'm going to use it right away, then I want it to be a little brown and definitely soft. Like you want to be able to squeeze it. But if you know you're going to keep it for a little bit, then get it on the greener side and then hold on to it until it gets a little more brown and soft.
Cool.
Any other tips? Does anybody do anything else?
If you want to force ripen it, put it in a brown paper bag. Yeah, and let it sit on your counter for a couple of days. That's a good tip. I also tend to like the bigger avocados more than the tiny ones. They have more flavor.
Right. I want to hear from folks how their chili is coming along as it's simmering.
Hold on one second. Dawn has a question or a comment. I see you with your hand up, Dawn. Can I come over?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm here.
It's all right. Talk to us.
I didn't have thyme, and I didn't have cumin, and I didn't have the bay leaf, so I just put in some dash, and it tasted.
That's the additional seasoning you added.
Yeah.
And what did that do to it? The dash seasoning.
Just a little bit more flavor. Tasted good.
Cool. Thanks. Yeah. Is your chili done? How are you in the process? Where are you at? Are you making you're making the avocado dip with us?
I'm just gonna slice my avocado plain and put it on top.
Yeah. This is interesting. So I just mixed up this avocado yogurt stuff. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how it'll taste on top of the chili.
Cool.
But you know, it's not one of those like,
hold. No, keep talking, Fiona, and Dawn, keep stirring your pot because I want to come and take a look at the mushrooms in your chili. I forgot you had done that.
Yeah,
so what are you
this
thinking?
Avocado lime situation isn't like, it's okay.
What's in there right now?
All right, folks. So I added the avocado, a quarter cup of yogurt. Oh, I haven't added my cilantro yet. Maybe that.
There we go. Cilantro will change it.
My garlic, the lime juice, the salt, and the pepper.
I'd add some cumin to that too. That will amp up flavor.
Yeah, that's true too.
So much
yeah, I do feel like, you know, as much as we try to avoid salt, I feel like this is a recipe that needs a little more salt than usual to amp up the other flavor.
Yeah, and oftentimes when you're using fresh or canned veggies, like it's very, this is like, you know, no processed food, y'all. This is all the real stuff, and it does need some seasoning to bring it all out and bring it all together and make sure that they're all, you know, complementing one another. So salt, don't be afraid of it. Again, if you are the one who's in control, you're adding it. You're doing yourself a better service than if you're buying stuff that already has the salt added in it, because they add way more salt and not necessarily the good salt. Oh, in the chat, there was also talk about iodized salt. I think that was UH asking about that. We tend to use sea salt, which is like the natural mineral, and it has all the components that our body needs, versus iodized salt, which is a processed sea salt that takes out all the minerals and then puts back in iodine. We're at Real Food Food always try to be mindful about the processing of our foods and avoiding processing whenever possible, and that's why we take out the middleman with the iodized salt and just go straight for the sea salt and trust that it has all the minerals that we need.
I'm so curious to know how much other people use, because I really do get such a kick when I taste my liquid. Like, I'm getting that spice. Are you all not getting the spice when you taste just the liquid without the beans?
Ooh.
Carla, I'm getting a thumbs up from your kitchen. Are you tasting the spice? Yeah.
Kids, you all like the spice? You can handle the heat?
It tastes great.
It tastes great? You like it? Yay.
It approves. Cynthia, how's your kitchen coming along?
Yeah, your first time cooking with us, Cynthia. What's happening over there with you?
So my avocado was not ripe enough, unfortunately, but I am trying to smash it. But the flavor with the cilantro and the lime, I just can't wait to dig in. So I could picture eating this like, you know, maybe like with a pretzel or celery or on something else as well.
Yeah, it's a really great
I didn't mix the yogurt fully, but I'm trying to smash the avocado without much luck, but I'll be mindful of buying it next time.
So it's kind of funny because I'm actually not loving the topping. I'm not into it, but I'm glad that you like it. Yeah. How about you, Ava? How's your kitchen coming?
It's coming along good. My chili's a little watery, which is fine. So what I did was I made a little cornstarch slurry, and I put it in there just to thicken it. It's looking good now. And I also added some nutritional yeast. I'm playing around with some stuff, trying to give it maybe a little flavor. So I'm gonna taste it now. I like the avocado topping. I use sour cream instead of the yogurt.
Yeah.
It's good. I like it. I think I might have put too much salt, so I gotta put a little more lime. But it's giving me guac vibes right now.
Yes. That's what I was thinking about. That you know, I was like, oh, you know, a little guac on top of chili sounds kind of nice. But then I thought that the yogurt would add a nice creaminess to it.
Anybody else in the kitchen we're coming into? Kenya, how are you doing? Have you tasted the broth with the beans? Is it cooked yet? Is it simmering all the way through? What are you feeling?
Sauce is very good. The sauce is, I didn't even need to add salt and pepper. It's just, I did have vanilla yogurt though. So the vanilla yogurt with the avocado was good.
Oh, really?
Yes, it didn't need any sweet. It didn't even need salt. I had the lime it was because I didn't have regular plain yogurt.
Okay.
I said, well, let me just try, and it has a sweet taste to it.
Okay.
But it's okay.
And you like it?
I like that. Yeah.
I love how you're experimenting.
Yes, because I'm learning. I've never made chili. Is it supposed to be so clumpy, or am I supposed to blend it?
You can blend it, or it's up to you. What the consistency that you want is really up to you.
Yeah, Fiona's is smoother than that, but you can have it as chunky. That looks like a chunky guac to me.
Mine's pretty chunky, actually.
It's chunky too?
Yeah, mine's
you have more yogurt, it seems.
Yeah. Dawn has her hand raised. You have a question, Dawn?
And that's my sauce.
Ooh, that looks gorgeous.
Ah, that looks really good.
Yeah. Look at you coming along.
So nice and colorful.
Right? Heard it.
Get it.
Do it.
Here's my 5 per day in one bowl.
Exactly.
Right? Who's that, Lori? This is beautiful. Great job.
Yeah, thank you so much. I love, hearing how you change the recipe to make it your palate. Because again, a recipe is a starting point. So I love that you all come and you're willing to play and to experiment and to, get it to where you really like it. Because we want you to taste it and go, we don't want you to just be like, oh, this is something good for me, so I'm happy eating it. No, we want you to taste it and enjoy it. So definitely play.
Yay, thank you everybody for coming.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for playing along with us.
Yeah.